Hey guys, welcome back to Ironclad Industries. True to nature, I'm jumping out of one build and straight into the next one. If you'll pay attention, you'll notice that this is the same day. I look just as grubby, I usually do, but the same day as when I filmed the last clip in the Crucible Blade, the Doom Crucible Blade build. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting right into the Marauder axe from Doom Eternal. I actually already have quite a bit of the handle done already. I haven't been filming every little bit of it, mostly because I have all of the footage from the Crucible Blade build still in my phone. I don't have much space, so I have to edit it before I get this out. That's beside the point. Right now, I have this much done so far. These were a pain. Those were a pain. That wasn't a pain. This is just kind of a skeletonized view. This has almost like scales that go over it. But you can see that's what I've got so far. It makes a really nasty club. That's it so far. That's about 12 hours into the build. So from here on, I'm going to take videos of most of the process. I have the blade. It's going to be the same idea as the Crucible Blade. It's going to be hollow, about a 1/2 inch thick, 3/16 hollow manifold on the inside so I can pump propane up through it and light the sucker on fire. Plus, it has a really fun skull on the top, a demon skull with horns and everything. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be fun, probably. I might go insane. We'll see. Kind of the usual. So I have some of the parts for the jaw cut out here. And as I've said before, especially with the sword build, when you're making a complex three-dimensional design with a program or a system that can only cut 2D shapes, you cut them and you layer them. It's a lot like how a 3D printer builds up layers upon layers to make a three-dimensional shape out of stacks. So this is the jaw chin spikes. So the lower teeth go right here. So this is what I'm working on today, trying to get this thing all put together. I have to weld it and then grind it down so it looks like it's a solid piece, a lot like how I did the handle for the sword. I feel the need to take a moment and complain about how much of a pain this is. This is more of traditional metal sculpting methods rather than, you know, just sticking stuff together. So I don't really have grinders that fit into tight little spots like this, so I'm just kind of having to make it work. Die grinders, have a air file, automatic file that I got recently. That's great. I got it for this kind of thing. But yeah, so you stick the layers together and weld them and then grind them until they look like they're one solid piece. And that is probably the worst part of any of the processes making weird shapes like this, is this part right here. I mean, it looks awesome, but it's such a pain. I have the teeth cut out. Right now, this is just a theory, but I'm stacking all of them, which include the chin and the inside of the mouth. I'm stacking them all together. I'm going to grind them individually into the shape of teeth and then weld them on to the chin part right here, and hopefully weld all that together and it'll look like it's solid. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so now this goes here, and that comes off. And that gets tacked like so, and is hopefully right. Too late now. All right, there we have it. That looks way better than I was actually hoping. So you wouldn't want to get bit by that. Of course, I'm gonna fill all of those, grind them all off so it's smooth and even, doesn't have obvious layer lines. Well, there's some cleaning up, there's some welding to do still, of course, blend all those. But I figured I'd just mock it up and see, and that looks pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. This was a new technique, making the teeth like this, making them part of the inside of the jaw, and I had no idea if it was going to work or not, but that works. That works pretty well. All right, so I went and smoothed up all the welds in here, got it nice and shiny. We have the two jaws back to back, 1/2 inch plate in between because this is what's holding the blade. The blade is going to be 1/2 inch as the sword was. Again, it's so thick because it has to be hollow for the propane to flow through. So I just have it kind of sitting here. So I'm going to put you here, and I am going to weld that. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a problem. Come on. Whoopsie. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. It's beautiful. A little bit tight, but beautiful. All right, next order of business is filling in all of this stuff. These bulkheads are not supposed to be exposed. They're just bulkheads. They're just a framework to give me something to build off of. So I need to go from the chin and cover all of those in overlapping plates and then grind it off. The usual, they're actually supposed to look like they're segmented though, so I'm not gonna grind them off all the way like I did the chin because I don't want that separation. So it's more like scales. So I'm going to probably make paper patterns for all of that, and then from there I can scan them into the computer and then cut them out on the plasma. That way they're all the same, and then just lay them on there and weld them and grind them down. So I'm starting on the top of the skull, and I'm fixing a mistake that I made on the bottom half of the skull, or the jaw, with the horns or tusks that were coming out underneath. And what I'm doing this time, I had a real hard time cleaning up the horns, the tusks, whatever they are, because everything was all attached, and you can see all this would be really hard to get in there with a grinder once it's completely three-dimensional. It is already, but you know, once it has some depth. So I'm just making sockets so that these horns can go in afterwards, so I can make the skull, both horns separately, and then once the head actually has some depth to it, this will be on the other side. These are not eyes, those are going to get filled with weld, and then these are basically the sinuses and the feed for the eye sockets. The eyes are right about there. So once this is all together, I can slip the horns in and then weld it and just clean up the weld right there, rather than trying to clean up the entire side of the head with the horn in the way. And that would just be a pain. And I did that already once, and I don't want to do it again. So I also apparently forgot to drill the holes for the nostrils. Need to be right about there. I'm adding all these holes because there's a chance that I'm going to try to pump propane up through the skull itself rather than just the blade. So I want flames to come out of the nose and the eyes. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to do that or not. I am on a time crunch, and that would take a lot of extra planning and prep and all that. Also, just kind of working in a really limited space, I can't put a full valve or a nozzle or something like that in there. So if I can figure out a way to make it work, then I will, and it'll be awesome. And if not, then I just won't do it. But it won't hurt to have the channels for the propane there in advance, just in case I can. So all that welding and grinding later, and I have this derpy looking thing. Now, of course, this is a cross section. This isn't actually how it's going to stay. And I thought, of course, making these pieces and sticking them on would make it look a little bit better, but no, now it just looks like some sort of mutant duck. And that is not gonna fly. Oh, that was a bad pun. Oh, gross. So then I have a cross section here, and these are just bulkheads, kind of like I did on the neck. And so all of these together with plates rolled to go over this, it's gonna make something that resembles a skull. Also, I do have all the teeth cut out. I'm gonna do the teeth next after I attach all this stuff, and then maybe it'll actually look good.
He's growing. He's
Is
in an
he?
awkward teenager stage.
There's 32, not 42. I know how to math. I can do this. I was homeschooled. Now we just got to stick all these together in order, and then stick them onto this, and pray it looks good. Yep. Well, I welded these together, ground them off, and I gotta say, I've never wanted to kill somebody with a demon horn before, but man, this would stab so nicely. In other news, I put the other couple spikes on the top of his head, and now I'm putting this, what I don't know what to call it. I'm calling it the crown, and it just basically forms down over the brow there and gives it a little extra layer. Not sure what it's for, but it kind of looks cool. So, oh, it's off-centered. I'll give it a whack. But yeah, just same deal. Heat it up, hammer it down, weld it. There we go. Got the crown on. There's gonna be some kind of gemstone that goes there on both sides, of course. Now, these go into the sockets because I was smart and planned ahead. And I just gotta weld those. Best looking demon skull I have ever made. So as you can tell, I skipped a couple steps again, maybe more than a couple, but it looks like a bomb, so we've reached that magical point in time. Yeah, so we're about 90 hours into the build, and I just skipped a bunch of stuff that none of you will understand anyway, so, you know, it's above your pay grade. We have a sketchy ghetto bolt valve in there so that maybe we can get fire to come out of the eyes and nose. We'll see. Fire might not come out of anything except for where it's not supposed to, but we're about to test and find out. It's super late. It's almost 3 in the morning, and I've lost it. It's finally happened, and I've snapped. So I'm testing this thing. My phone's running out of storage, and I just want to get it done, and I might blow up. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm not even gonna show it to you. It's just gonna happen, okay? Cool, awesome. It works! Okay, now. Stupid. Oh, I should turn that down a little bit. Oh, it's leaking out of the valve. Thought that might happen. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, right out of the mouth there. Oh, nope, that's something else. It's fine. It's fine. Take a look. Oh, Lord, it's heavy. See that flame in the mouth? It's not supposed to be there. So, yep, right there. It's not supposed to be. But it's fine. It looks awesome. I like it. If I die, I die. So, I'm going to set this down now because it's too heavy. I don't even know how heavy it is, but it's pretty heavy. Not as heavy as the sword, but it's awkward. It's super awkward. Now I'm going to open the super ghetto valve without turning this off because I'm an idiot. So, now theoretically the flame should, stop it, should come out of the eyes. Or I die. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Nope. Oh, something happened. Stop it. Stop it. What are you doing? No! Okay, it's fine. Ah! It's coming out of the eyes, coming out of everything. This is nice. This is okay. Okay. This is cool. I should hang this up, like on my wall. I really want to take this to a church. I shouldn't do that. Oh, Griswold's been so long. Okay, well, I think that's it. I should go to bed. So that's it for this build. If you can hear me, if you can't, then I'm gonna make a little outro at the end of this because the shop echoes and it's horrible and all that. So, yep, that's cool. That's it, we're done. Good night.